I come to you, my spooky friends, with some sad news about Megan and Brooke. Uh, they've gone missing. It's been 5 days since I've last texted with them. We were supposed to do a live session. So let me back up here so I can give you guys a little bit of an idea what's going on here. We were supposed to do a live session at a haunted location. And well, Megan and Brooke went ahead of me, and we were communicating, we were texting the whole time. But when I got there, Megan and Brooke's car was there that they were in, and they'd driven up there, but they weren't there. And I really thought they were playing a joke on me, but I searched all over the place. I was ready for Megan or Brooke to jump out and scare me and everything. And I was just going to be like, oh, you guys. I searched the premises for them. Couldn't find them. I have contacted the police. And I was part of the search team this week. And we have turned up nothing so far. If you have any information on Brooke or Megan's whereabouts, please know this. Gotcha! I bet some of you were thinking, oh my God, where did Megan and Brooke go? They're gone. No, they're fine. Megan and Brooke are fine. They're not missing. I know some parents who listen to this, Megan and Brooke, your daughters are fine. Don't call and text them and freak out. No. So this week was an interesting week, to say the least. The Dairyland Frights. Megan and Brooke and I had a discussion, and they both have decided they want to take a break, which is great, because I'm always the one about family and focusing on family, and we're at different phases in our life right now, which is fine, but don't worry, okay? They will definitely be back, be guests on the show, maybe get a little itchy for some spooky show. But as of right now, they're focusing on their family, focusing on some other things. Moving forward, I will be taking over because the spookiness must go on. So this show will have the same creepiness and fun that it always had. I'm going to have guests on. I'm going to be collaborating with other paranormal hosts, people in the paranormal. So if anybody wants to reach out to me at dairylandfrights@gmail.com and would love to be on the show, I'd love to promote you, love to promote your podcast, love to collaborate with you. Also, I would love to do some on-site investigations down the line, which Megan and Brooke, of course, they can join me if their schedule allows. And also maybe doing some giveaways. But the biggest focus for me is making the show go on, keep the spookiness going, having some fun. Also, I'm going to be doing some videos once I get that all figured out, having some fun with that. So a lot of changes here at Dairyland Frights, but, they're for the good. And I love Megan and Brooke very, very much. And I know, hey, never say never. We'll see them in the future. I can guarantee you that. But always, like I say, I need support. I need your support because we're still this organic, small, a podcast. And, Apple, Spotify, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow, rate us 5 stars. That will help. Like I said, once I figure out YouTube, I'll be posting some videos soon. And having some real fun along the way. So that's never going to change. Dairyland Frights is always going to be fun. So let's get to the spookiness, okay? So again, welcome to another episode of Dairyland Frights, the paranormal podcast that covers everything creepy and mysterious, spooky in the Midwest. So I'm going to be honest with you, spooky friends. I really wanted to do a penitentiary one, some haunted penitentiary, which I will do. But I found this just by pure chance, this stories from Nebraska that just hooked me. And the first story involves a park with get this, albino cannibals. Yes, I said albino cannibals, satanic rituals, cursed steps, and so much more. And then my second story, I got a two-parter for you. So I'm glad you're listening. Is about a teacher in the 1900s who lost their mind with some unruly students. And let's just say she didn't handle that well. There wasn't detention for these kids, and she horrifically disciplined them. So let's get spooky, shall we? All right. So my friends, let's just say you may not wish to visit a park in Nebraska outside of Omaha called Hummel Park. It's not only cursed, haunted, and a true crime nightmare. Or I guess that's a good thing if you're into true crime. And I'll get to that. So let's get out the boring stuff. My sources today are the Daily Nebraskan website, Only in Your State website, Omaha Magazine, and of course, Reddit. So Hummel Park covers 200 acres in wood acres in Omaha, Nebraska. It's a very pretty park. You look at pictures of this, and it's a very popular spot for hiking, picnics, recreation. And this park is at 1808 John J. Pershing Drive, Omaha, Nebraska. And many believe that Hummel Park is haunted, like I said, and visitors report seeing orbs, hearing voices, and having a distinct sense of uneasiness. And you find out why. The park also has unfortunately been a site of a few murders and deaths. That's what, like I said, we'll get to that. A few decades ago, it was a fairly dangerous place with a lot of crime and gang activity. Like I said, I'll get to that later. So the first thing is when you get into Hummel Park, it is Hummel Park, the I don't know, the little sign, when you go into a park. Well, it looks like a gravestone. So you drive in, there's Hummel Park, and I'll put some pictures up on our social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So as soon as you drive in, you see like this gravestone area. And what's really funny about it is that the fact is, too, that the trees kind of bow over, okay? And what's really weird about it is that supposedly in the early 1900s, some racist groups, so they really say, and what they did, they were like lynch mobs, and what they did, basically just hung a bunch of black people from these trees. Why? They're a lynch mob and they're racist. Yes, and that's horrible, right? And people say the reason that these trees still kind of bow over when you go in there is because that is the souls of these unfortunate innocent black people who were hung. And also, you could hear the screams and cries coming from the park at night, people say. So, yeah, that's not good. As soon as you go in the park, a bunch of trees that innocent people were hanged from. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is the first urban legend they have out there is it is believed that there is these cursed stairs, even a gateway to hell, and these morphine stairs and everything. And it's believed if you count the stairs while ascending, you'll get a different number when you go back down. And if for some reason you get the same count both times, you will be cursed and you will die soon. Okay? So just make sure you count correctly. One legend even says that if you count the steps while descending and happen to count the correct number, the devil will appear to grant you anything you ask for, as long as you're willing to give up your soul. I know I'm a little dramatic. Okay. And so this is one of my exchanges with it. So let's say you do that. How would Satan, like, what would you say to Satan? This is what I would say to Satan. Okay. So I'm checking out the stairs. Okay. This is me and then Satan. Okay. Me first. Hey, Satan, you said for my soul, you grant anything I wish for? Yes, John. Oh, so like world peace, fix the global warming. Oh, the Kardashians. Can we get rid of them? Come on. Don't you want to shred like Eddie Van Halen? No. Oh, I got it. I got it. How about 100 wishes? No. Well, you said anything, Satan. I lied. I'm Satan. Fine. I wish Satan can't lie anymore. No way, John. Well, forget it. This is going nowhere. I already gave my soul and my heart to my wife. So, sucker, John. So, that is Satan telling me, whatever. And, again, if you're dealing with Satan, you're probably not going to have a great time and everything. One of the things, too, is, and this is my favorite thing, is you get through the stair thing, you get through the curse. Oh, I forgot to add. Some people think it's a gate to hell. So, that's okay. But it's fun, right? I'm going to read some stories later from people on Reddit who are like, yeah, okay, whatever. All right. But the second thing that I love is albino cannibals. So imagine you're in a park and people said they've seen these albino. It used to be a family. Nobody really knows. They had a house there. They got kicked off the land. Does it really matter? It's albino cannibals. Come on. It's so when these albino cannibals, when they get hungry, by the way, this is something like Rob Zombie would do, albino cannibals. He might have probably already done it, and I missed that movie. But Rob Zombie, if you're listening, I'm pitching it albino cannibals. Okay. So albino cannibals, when they get hungry, they just don't go to like wherever, McDonald's or whatever, Subway. They attack lone visitors and eat them. Duh, they're cannibals. So don't stay in Hummel Park after dark, the legend cautions, or you might fall prey to cannibal albinos. So this legend has been circulating as early as 1966. Everyone knows someone, I guess, in Omaha or maybe Nebraska. And dairylandfrights@gmail.com if you know about the albino cannibals. Who was a friend or a cousin's boyfriend has saw the albinos. By the way, I'm going to put a link on one of our social media sites of this really cheesy, dumb video of these people who saw an albino at night. Yeah, it's bad, but it's fun. But there's no verifiable, firsthand accounts that they exist. And like I said, I have this hilarious video I'll put up later. So the other thing too, they have these structures. Satanic rituals, I should say, is the next thing. And that's a topic I would do one of these days. Let's just calm down about satanic rituals, shall we? It is difficult to say these structures, which I'll put on social media, let you see. Excuse me. These structures were originally meant for. They believe they have been in the park. It's been used like fire pits. But it's darker activities as well. I'm not really sure. You guys will have to tell me again. dairylandfrights@gmail.com. But it's just really weird. They're in a weird place. Maybe they were statues on them or something. I don't know, but you guys tell me. Then another thing is they have this in parks where they have a shelter and you go in and everything. So I show pictures of it. Unfortunately, graffiti and everything. Like I said, this is gang activity. So there's a lot of gangs there doing terrible things, which you'll learn here in a little bit. It has a large stone fireplace, has been closed off, and like I said, vandals have done and tags and gang tags and all that stupid stuff. But people have seen orbs, have appeared in photos when they've taken pictures there. Also, people really start feeling a mysterious dark presence. I mean, when you go in this, people have said what I was reading here in my research was people feel just really strange, like somebody's watching them, and like people do not like to stay in this shelter. Now, one of the things too is it's super funny is like families picnic here. Children play here. Boy Scouts camp here. They have educational programs in the summer, just like your normal park. So here in Madison, we have like Monona Park. I have some local parks in my town. It's the same old, just like in your town, right? When you have these local parks where in the summer the kids go play, or arts and crafts or whatever it is, right? And it's just really weird that it's this dark and tragic thing. And I'll get into a lot of it that are true. They're just really, really disheartening and tragic. So one of the other things I forgot to mention is there's this place called Devil's Slide and one near the park where people have been known to, commit suicide. So it's this huge cliff. I shouldn't say it's a huge cliff, but big enough that if you jump off, that's it. And kids do dumb stunts on, like there's things on YouTube I found, like kids trying to sled down this thing. And if you see it, I'll try to show a picture of that again on our media sites. It's like, what are you thinking? This is like, if my kids did that, man, I'd probably kill. No, I would not do that. I love my kids, but I'd be like, what are you doing, dude? Like, stop. So you might not believe the park is haunted, but most people agree that it is creepy. So whether you believe it's haunted or not, that's up to you. But everyone agrees it's creepy. And for a park, I think that's kind of strange. And so what I'm going to get to right now, I'm going to read a list. Now, this is not a true crime podcast. This is, like I said, is our paranormal podcast. This is just a short list of some of the terrible things that have happened there. Okay, so let's start with number one. Oh boy. 1933, a 19-year-old Rose Ingo was killed in the park when the car she was riding in overturned on a curved road. Okay, that sucks. Then in October of 1947, again, a 19-year-old admitted to drinking heavily before his car smashed into a hay rack filled with University of Omaha students at the park. And a person, 20-year-old Freddie Freeland, was killed. Okay? It gets worse. I'm just getting warmed up, folks. January 1949, two motorcyclists discovered George's Ruck's frozen corpse on the outskirts of the park. So imagine you're just going for a motorcycle ride and you're like, oh my God, there's this frozen dead guy. Okay. October 1950, two men armed with a hatchet and hammer attacked two soldiers and their dates, and they forced the two women 19 and 21, or excuse me, 15 and 21, the girls' ages, to leave with them. They raped them and then released them on a random Omaha street corner. Yeah. Okay. August 1954. I'm just in the middle, folks. A reported sexual assault of three women at Hummel Park. Okay, so we're seeing the theme here, right? Terrible theme, but the theme. And then in February of 1960, the frozen body of a woman was discovered near the park. So that's two frozen bodies. Okay, not November 1970, a 15-year-old Lori Jones was found dead, shot 3 times after her companions claimed they left her sleeping inside the car of Hummel Park. April of 1973, a 20-year-old woman was carjacked in Omaha and forced to drive to Hummel Park, where she was, well, you get it again, I hate to use that word, and then driven back to the city where the assailant fled. April of 1983, the brutal softball bat murder of an 18-year-old prostitute, Laura LaPointe, happened southwest of the park. Her body was discovered nude in a ditch, and 4 other prostitutes were later convicted. I wonder why this park is spooky, creepy, haunted. I wonder why. Um, May 1984, 2 men were arrested for sexually assaulting a 25-year-old woman at knife point. July 1984, police had no suspects in the death of a 21-year-old Michelle Lemore, who was intentionally run over and left to die north of the park. June 1986, a 34-year-old man was charged with sexual assault of a 17-year-old Omaha woman in a park. June 1992, Central High School sophomore Jeremy Drake was killed in the park over stolen cars, stereo speakers. Way to go, people. Drake's body was discovered by a woman walking her dog. So remember, we did Lincoln Park Zoo. There's all these graves and stuff buried under this. So that's legitimate. They found that this is legitimate too. And it's just awful. It gets worse. So again, more Gold Star, more like they say on one of my other favorite podcasts, but this is going into R-rated territory. Now, in December of 1999, Scott Addison was lured to Hummel Park to sell a stereo where he was beaten and stabbed. His 2 assailants left him for dead, and Addison wrote their names in his blood. Let me repeat that again, R-rated. wrote their names, his assailant's name, in his blood on the trunk of his car, and then walked a quarter of a mile to find help. Scott, you're one tough SOB. That's all I have to say. And I hope you survived. I believe he did. I think I found some information on him. So, June of 2005, Jose Lucio survived being shot in the back by several gang members of MS-13. MS-13 people, just give you a kind of idea who they are. They are from South America, and they're one of the most cruelest gangs in the world. So if anybody go up with see MS-13 tag somewhere, leave immediately because you do not want to be with these guys. Okay, so May 2006, again, R-rated. This is serious stuff, folks. Someone ghost hunting. That's not serious, but someone ghost hunting in Hummel Park. Oh boy, discovered the shallow grave of 12-year-old Amber Harris. That was a huge story, obviously. They did find the killer, thank goodness, Roy Ellis. He was convicted of, you get it, and murder, and was sentenced to death. So that's interesting. I didn't know Nebraska had the death penalty, so learn something new every day. February 2008. 16-year-old David Morello lost control of his Honda in the park and died after he was ejected from his car and went to a ravine. And oh, thank goodness. December 13th, there's been more. I'm just hitting the highlights or lowlights. December 2013, Washington County deputies found the body of an unknown man north of the park whose death was considered suspicious. So, Hummel Park, you wonder, hey, okay, so when you drive in the park, you got a bunch of racist lynch mobs hanging innocent black people. Then you go in the park, there's been terrible things happening to men and women being shot and killed. And oh, yeah, that's a good park that I want to take my kids to picnic. Yeah, I don't think so. So, I don't know what you guys think of Hummel Park. I'd love to hear dairylandfrights@gmail.com if you live near the park or go to the park. There's a bunch of other things too. They have some creepy bridges that were there that are now torn down. I didn't really get into the satanic rituals because nobody really can prove it. It's more of people like kids going in and drawing pentagrams on the ground and just being stupid. It's really funny that we can't find gates to heaven, but gates to hell all over exist all over the world. There's like 7 of them, which one of my podcasts I would talk about, which is ridiculous in my opinion. Anyway. So let's do one of my new favorite sections I would do on every podcast from here on out, called Mildly Scary Tales from Reddit. And this one's about Hummel Park. So let's start with the first one. And again, by the way, if you send me your stories about Hummel Park or some other ghost stories, just remember, hey, be anonymous. It's okay. Or you can tell me your name. Either way, I'm good. So here's the first story. My dad and uncle took my siblings and me here one evening, Hummel Park, when we were kids. I was maybe 10, and the experience always stuck with me. It was early evening. There was still light out, when we got there. And we told a bunch of ghost stories and, we pulled some pranks, the kids, right? It's great. So as it got darker, my dad started to get serious and said, we need to hurry up and get out of here. Okay. He probably drove 50 miles an hour out of the road, out of the park itself, which I remember being steep and windy. I asked him about it much later when we were talking about creepy stuff, mostly urban legends my dad told me about and everything, and what had happened to him. Haha. He said something like he felt they were being followed. And he said they're never going back there for any reason. So remember, albino cannibals, maybe they're sneaking up. It's nighttime. Albinos cannot be out in the sun. Well, they can, I guess, if there's something. If you're an albino, please tell me. DairyLandFriends@gmail.com. He's not a bow, esser. But I could see the hairs on his neck standing up when he told me that. Ain't never going back. All right. So that's dad. And believe me, if dad says something to you that you leave, you leave. By the way, happy Father's Day. I'm a dad too. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. All right. So next story. So I've grown up around the park and I've heard all the stories about it growing up. From the personal point of view, whenever I drive through there, I just get a weird, unnatural, heavy feeling all over my body. It's a truly creepy place, especially with the bodies they have dug up just around the area of the entire park. I'm like, wait. The bodies that they just dug up, there's more bodies? What is this, Lincoln Park Zoo again? Stop putting parks on dead bodies, all right? This is my favorite one. Very simple. There's a hermit who is missing his nose and will slice yours off if he catches you. All right. So there's this hermit now. He just doesn't have a nose, which would really suck. Then he slices your nose off. I don't know what he does with it. It doesn't say what he does with your nose, but okay. Next one. Hummel Park has a lot of bodies. Oh boy. One time they went searching for a missing person assumed dead, and they found like 2 or 3 other bodies that had been dumped there. One was a young girl, and her body was in a barrel. Like, what? What are we doing in people in Nebraska? Will you listen to me? Just stop it. Let's just stop. Okay? Can we just figure this out? Anyway, that was my story about Hummel Park. Tell me what you guys think. Whether you have been there and you feel creepy and really out of sorts when you're there, or it's a joke, man. Just kind of go with it. People having fun with it. But those true crime stories are true. That is definitely true. I looked at all the reports, and so that's scary. So I hope you had fun with that story. I really did. Just this little park in Omaha, of all places. I'm like, come on. Oh, anyway, so my second scary story is the story of Hatchet Bridge. Great name for a bridge, right? Hatchet Bridge. And this one is in Nebraska again. It centers around a one-room schoolhouse, which was previously located in the town of Portal. And it's one of the lesser, scarier tales, I guess. But when I came across, I said, lesser tale? This is pretty scary. So a teacher in the 1900s, here we go, 1900s again. Usually it's the 1800s. She was in this one-room schoolhouse in the town of Portal. And some versions of the story, the teacher decapitated her young students and placed their heads in the desk. Yeah, again, like I said earlier about unruly students, teachers, if you get sent to detention, I'm okay with that. Decapitating my head, not so okay with. So no one knows what happened that day to cause the teacher to snap. Okay. But she reportedly lost her temper. Wow. She is a bad temper and committed an unthinkable atrocity. Okay. She took up a hatchet and then I guess she blocked the exit because it's a one-room schoolhouse. So you got one exit. Then methodically and ruthlessly murdered every one of the young suspecting students. And then, overwrought with her grief, okay, lady, and sudden regret. Yeah, sudden regret. That's not like you accidentally bought the wrong couch and now you can't return it. A little bit different. Anyway, she had this genius idea. So there's one where they put them at the desk, put all the heads in the desk. I guess somebody found them. Um, but most of the people think she went to this nearby bridge and she cut out the hearts too. Why? I don't know. Because this will lead to the next thing. Why she had to cut out the hearts. Anyway, she went to a nearby bridge and just threw them in the water in an attempt to hide her devious act. All right. Now, although this is not, the school is no longer in its original location, it is said that if you walk over this bridge, I'll put a picture, especially at night, you will still hear the heartbeats of the different kids and everything like that going on. And I'm just like, wait a minute. And I saw this bridge. I don't know if it is the exact, bridge and everything, but I was like, that is crazy. So imagine you're just walking along, la da da da, maybe, it's a summer night, and then you just hear this as you walk across the bridge. And by the way, there is no historical record of this. I looked up, I tried to find it. Most people think it's just a made up story again, urban legend. But they moved the one-room schoolhouse, to Papillion, Nebraska. And what's weird about it is, why would they move it? And some people say, oh, well, they just moved it because they were going to tear it down in the Papillion. Nebraska said, oh, we'll take it and everything. People say that, again, once they're in the schoolhouse and looking around, that they feel uneasy, they feel a little weird. Now, that might be from the stories, but who knows? One thing I have to say is that if that is happening across this bridge and other things, I'm going to try to look up and see if I can find any more information on it, because I think this is really cool. I haven't really heard the stories like this. From time to time, I have, of where people have like seen like a ghost or a figure. Nobody has said they've seen the teacher like walking through or chasing people with a hatchet or anything. So that's interesting. But again, like I said, people who go over the bridge, they hear the heartbeat. They just feel like heavy heart, and feel really dread. So I say road trip. Hopefully Megan and Brooke can join me on this. And then we can go there and check that out and do our own investigation. So those are two stories that I want to start with, two little stories. And again, I want to thank Megan and Brooke for being on past episodes with me. And hopefully, like I said, when your schedule clears out and everything, hopefully Megan and Brooke can do some guest spots and everything. And again, here's two things that we're learning today. One, stop burying bodies in parks. All right. Can we just stop doing that? Two, if you're a teacher and you're losing your mind, either quit your job or get some therapy or something. Please get help. Do not decapitate the students and take out their hearts and stuff like that. Okay. And last but not least, either story, Hummel Park, I do believe because all the criminal and all that stuff, there has to be something dark in there, has to be. As far as the Heartbreak Bridge and the Hatchet Bridge and all that schoolhouse stuff, the teacher, I don't think so. But it's cool, it's a cool thought. not really that people get decapitated, but if that happens, like, wow, that is crazy. Never heard anything like that. So before I go, like I said, make sure you follow, like, subscribe us on your favorite Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure you go to YouTube and watch some of the videos that I'll be putting up hopefully soon and making some other changes. And again, always tell your girls say hi and say hi for Megan and Brooke too, because we want them to know that they're still there. So again, stay spooky. Love ya.